Howdy! In this mini-lecture, we will discuss the Chesapeake Bay as a case study of ecosystem services. The student learning objectives of this mini-lecture are define watershed and assess the wicked problem of the oyster collapse in the Chesapeake Bay. One community that knows all too well the value of ecosystem services is the Chesapeake Bay, which is on the east coast of the U.S. Chesapeake Bay is 200 miles long, stretching from Maryland to Virginia. The bay is an estuary, which is a body of water where fresh and salt water mix together. The Chesapeake Bay is the largest estuary of more than 100 in the U.S. and is the third largest in the world. This area was once a thriving system rich in blue crabs, oysters, scallops, and fish such as giant sturgeon and striped bass. People flocked to this area because of the abundance of natural resources. Economies and cities were built up based on the harvesting of the seafood in the bay. People built their lives around this bay and it became a popular destination for tourism. However, like many natural resources and systems, the Chesapeake Bay is now a mere shadow of its former glory. In the 1880s, the Chesapeake Bay was the world's largest oyster fishery, but by 2010, the bay's oyster populations were only 1% of their historical abundance. Overharvesting, habitat destruction, oyster diseases, and water pollution have nearly wiped out the once abundant and rich oyster population and reduced the abundance of other sea life in the bay. The loss of these resources has monetary impacts as well. It's estimated that the fishery collapse in the Chesapeake Bay cost $4 billion in lost revenue in Maryland and Virginia between 1980 and 2010. The green shaded region on the map represents the watershed of Chesapeake Bay and is about 64,000 square miles. A watershed is an area of land where all the water that is in it or falls within it drains off into a singular outlet. The singular outlet is often a river draining into the sea or a bay. Think of a shower-bathtub combination as a model watershed. The edges of the tub are the edges of the watershed. The drain is the one singular outlet of the watershed. When it rains, i.e. the shower is turned on, the water falls within the watershed, i.e. the tub, and ultimately makes its way to the outlet because of a slope in the land towards the outlet, i.e. the drain. In this way, all the water within the watershed flows to the outlet. Within the Chesapeake Bay watershed, as with most large watersheds, there are tens of thousands of streams which eventually flow to the bay. Along the way, these streams pick up sediment and pollution from a variety of sources, including forests, industry, cities, and farms. The streams carry the pollution and sediment downriver to the bay. One of the key pollutants in this system is excess nitrogen and phosphorus. You can see in the pie charts where the nutrients are coming from. As you can see, fertilizer use in agriculture and urban and suburban areas and wastewater from municipal and industrial sources are significant contributors of phosphorus and nitrogen entering the Chesapeake Bay. If you're not already aware of it, fertilizer is predominantly nitrogen and phosphorus. When these nutrients get too high in water, they cause eutrophication, which then causes hypoxic conditions, as is indicated by the call-out map of the bay on the right. Notice the color scale on the call-out. Dark orange areas indicate anoxic conditions, and just above that, as indicated by a lighter orange to yellow, are hypoxic conditions. As a reminder, hypoxic conditions are when there are low levels of dissolved oxygen in the water, and anoxic conditions are when there is no dissolved oxygen in the water. The oyster collapse of the Chesapeake Bay is considered a wicked problem because it is an incredibly complex issue involving many different stakeholders, and the source of the problem is complex. Furthermore, as the problem continues, the nature of the issue changes, which means developing a solution to the problem will require a great deal of planning, cooperation, and funding from the many different stakeholders. This concludes the mini-lecture on the Chesapeake Bay, a case study of ecosystem services. Please review the weekly outline and complete the activities for this week per the schedule set forth in the outline. Thanks and gig 'em.